The Escape podcast you have chosen is called The Sith Disturbers. Yet more jammed transmissions from the Farce users at the Tumbling Saber podcast. Proud members of the Star Wars Commonwealth.
Sir, the radar, sir. It appears to be jammed. Raspberry. There's only one who would dare give me the raspberry.
The Sith Disturbers.
The Force is strong with you.
Sith Disturbers. If you haven't been to our website, visit StarWarsCommonwealth.com and take your first steps into a larger world.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sith Disturbers, episode 2. I told you, it's going to take some getting used to. Oh, man. So we're back to have some more Star Wars related fun. And, I think it bears mentioning this week that we all got thrown for a loop where we saw that it was confirmed that a untitled Star Wars project was going to be filming relatively close to us, a couple hours away in Kingston, Ontario. And boy, oh boy, did we go hook, line, and sinker with that one, just with sheer excitement. Corey, do you want to quickly run down the plan that you had to get us all roles as extras on the show?
Well, I didn't really have a plan per se, but I have to say I see where this conversation's going. But no, I was super, super, super excited, and I was like, we have to get in this thing, and long story short, I didn't know where to really begin. And Kyle, again, you had the most sound advice, but I was just kind of looking for any kind of edge that we could have given ourselves to be in this thing, like a petition on Twitter, wherever it was. And, you were just kind of like, leave me out of it. I don't want to annoy people or anything like that. But, I really want to, if it were that close to us, I would spend my vacation spending money on hotels and stuff to put myself up in to be there. You know what I mean? In a heartbeat.
Absolutely. I totally would. I mean, what would you do to be in a Star Wars movie? Jesus, I would almost do anything, whether it was as an extra or with a speaking role. There's very little I wouldn't do. I would take as much time off work as I had to, within reason, of course. But yeah, there's certain baseline information that you need when you're going to go and make big decisions related to travel or where you're going to put a significant chunk of your time and money. There's a certain baseline of info that you first need to take care of. And we didn't have any of that so far. And James, we were having this conversation via Facebook. And eventually I think James just decided to enjoy his view from the seats as the folly unfolded.
It was pretty fun for me. It's great that you guys are brothers because you speak like only brothers can speak. So having two brothers myself, I'm often very entertained by you two.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Kyle's that's what we aim to do.
Kyle's the pragmatic, practical one, and I'm just the forever dreamer. Can't we do this, guys? But I just want to stay positive.
And the whole thing was
my main point in the long run was, let's just whatever we do about it, we have to whenever you think of it, you have to just think so positive that the wills of the Force will make it happen.
Yeah, listen, I get positivity for sure. I would not want to get into a project with a negative mindset, but I do try to guard myself with some realistic expectations somewhere along the way. But anyway, the whole thing was for naught because turns out that the story was fake, or at least the confirmation that it would be shooting relatively close to us was fake. I still think there might be something to the story. There's been the rumor that the Han Solo project, which that's what I'm calling it because that's what it is. The rumor that would be shooting in Kingston, Ontario, hasn't gone away, and it's been around for a while. But certainly the confirmation that it will be was fake. And then when you dig a little deeper, my wife seemed to take special delight in bursting the bubble. She sent me a half dozen links to stories. It was the identical story over and over where they just swap out the city. And it's just a network of fake news sites. Pure straight up clickbait. That's all it was.
Sucks.
And whether they're running with a story that actually has truth but has yet to be confirmed, or whether the entire thing is BS, I guess we will eventually find out. But safe to say that whatever that was, Wednesday night of last week, yeah, we had a little bit of a discussion on that.
At least an hour.
Which was fun now in retrospect. At least an hour.
I was stoked about
Please, Corey, just plan something, dude.
Yeah, we're
I can summarize it in a few sentences. It went back and forth. I'll be the unbiased, impartial observer. Corey, guys, we should definitely do everything to get ourselves in this movie. Kyle, they said they don't want to be bothered, so Corey, don't bother them. Yeah, but guys, we should definitely bother them. Corey, don't bother them. Okay, but I'm thinking, let's bother them a lot.
I just want to.
Well, it's funny because there's
Corey, I love
that
you.
site called.
Just so you know,
I know. I just want to get on someone's.
I absolutely love about you.
I want to get on the radar, man. That's all I want. You're not going to do it by sitting out of your computer.
Are you sure you want that? Because it specifically says, "Do not email." With extras, do not email this address. I think you'll get on the radar, and then you'll be put into the block bin. You'll be rummaged or routed to the spam filter.
Corey, I got bad news for you. I've got a friend who's in casting, and so I spoke to him because I was curious about this, and he didn't know anything about specifics about shooting anything. But he did tell me, he was like, you and your friends would not make it through the jury selection process. They don't want fans. So if they they basically ask you are you a fan? You'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, okay, next. They don't want fans. They want actors. They want people who are willing to give up their time.
Knowing that, that's just
free.
another. That's not just another bullet in my arsenal, man. I'll be like, oh,
yeah, I'm just telling you.
I know Star Wars, but yeah, I'm not that familiar with the material.
A 5-minute background check would prove how much of a liar you are.
I'm sure they don't background check, but the reason they don't want fans is because they don't want people talking about it, right? So the less.
Well, exactly, yeah. And that's what I was saying in our conversation. The fact, Corey was saying that we have a voice, and we have. I don't remember the exact tone of what he was saying, but basically saying that we're fans and we can do this, and they'll see how dedicated we are, and that works against us. Having this blog and having the podcast is not helping us one little bit. If you want to get on this, we should shut down the podcast and say, here's how dedicated we are. We deleted our Twitter accounts and shut down the podcast so that we wouldn't have an avenue to talk about this.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what would have to happen.
How cool would it be at one point we're doing the podcast in the future, a year or two from now, and then one of us just kind of finally says yeah, that's me, that character there. I couldn't tell you guys, even though we're on this podcast, but that's me.
Corey, I think you would literally explode if you had to keep that secret.
I could do it, though. I would do it.
No way.
I've kept some secrets.
No way.
Don't say
way.
that. Shut the
Nope. You could not do it. You could not keep that secret.
I could, Lucasfilm. I promise. I want to be in this movie.
Oh,
I haven't laughed this hard for a long time.
There's a 0% chance you could keep a secret of that magnitude. I would get a text message. Yo, can I call you?
No.
I guess so. What's up? I gotta talk to you.
We have to meet in person. It's important.
Oh, that was good.
And so you're not going to believe this. You can't even tell anybody. You can't even tell your cat. You can't even tell Candace.
For sure.
But I'm in Star Wars.
I might tell you guys.
So here he is. Yeah, there we go. That's how hard we had to press to get him to admit that he would actually break.
I wouldn't.
So anyway, guys, the shovels are in the ground over at Star Wars Land, both in California and in Florida. And man, the sheer scale of this thing is going to be absolutely huge. I can't even, like, Donald Trump can't get his tiny little hands around the scale of this project.
No, I saw those drone pictures, man. It looks awesome.
Like, it's now going to become, like Corey said earlier, a bucket list thing. Like, I can't go through life knowing that this thing is going to exist. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm going to have to go. And I'm going to have to, like, I don't know if it's going to take a second mortgage or if it's going to just take selling a kidney, but I'm going to have to go. There's no two ways about it.
You're going to have to go with us.
Or you're going to have to come with me.
We'll go off your royalty checks. We'll go off Corey's royalty checks after he's in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Done. That's exactly what it'd be spent on.
But you know, not much is known about what's going to be there. There's a bunch of concept art, and there's very little info available on what they're planning. But what we do know is that they're going to have a full-size Falcon. There's going to be a type of resistance versus First Order battle that people can participate in. And there's going to be a replica cantina from A New Hope. I imagine there'll be other types of eateries and places to get a drink that are based on Star Wars things too. But how cool would it be to pull up to a bar stool in the Star Wars cantina and order yourself a drink? Like, that is going to be the most amazing thing.
It almost reminds me of Westworld in a way.
I guess so, yeah. Frankly, it would remind me of Star Wars, but if you want to say Westworld, I guess that's power to you.
It's just the fact that you're at a theme park that, you know, like, for sure when you're in that bar or cantina having a drink, there's probably going to be a scuffle at one point between a Jedi and some kind of species. Someone may lose an arm.
Oh, maybe, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled stunts like that and have actors play out some kind of weird skirmish, for sure. So anyway, all this being said...
Kyle, let me ask you, do you think we would dress up if we went?
I would be more concerned with just taking it all in rather than trying to blend into the scenery and make other people think I'm part of the show. But you never know. I mean, I guess if we went as a group, it would be a group decision for sure. Although I got to say, if depending on how hot it is, it's California, it's Florida. Maybe Corey's going to wear his slave Leia outfit, but I'm not wearing anything too heavy.
Yeah, that's it. Well, either way, you get the point across pretty quickly, you know, like with whatever you're trying to do. But that is like the logistics of it, true too. You know, you are right in a way. Like if you're wearing masks and stuff, carrying that around, bags.
And I mean, let's not forget, it's still a theme park, a legit theme park in a country where security is never been more impregnable, so to speak. So if you're bringing in masks and all these elaborate props and whatnot, it's going to take you out of it if you force these people to frisk you over and over, right?
Yeah, it would kind of suck.
But anyway, what would you hope to see? Like, if you could go to a Star Wars theme park, and given the state of technology today, almost anything is possible. What would you want to see?
Oh, dude, I'd like to participate in some real live action stuff, like be pit against the Rancor, see if I can hit the bullseye. Stuff like that, like interactive stuff where like you can fly the Falcon or do the Death Star trench run, which is kind of, I think they've already kind of done that, but you know, something where you can just interact with characters and participate in something live action where you're the hero.
Or not. Maybe I'm sure there's a lot of people that would not mind being Darth Vader for once.
Like either way, it can go either way. You know, you take the dark side. What do you choose? Light or dark? You know, like you want to be the bad guy and like mess some stuff up.
James, what would you want to see?
I bet you I can name a bunch of the stuff that they're going to have there. I mean, have you guys been to Disney?
I've never been. No.
So it's like I've only been once, but it's very much what you would think. What you would think it is. It's a perfectly run family attraction that hits all the feels, as Corey says. So this is going to hit like anything you want to see is going to be there. So you didn't have to tell me there was going to be a bar, like, set up like the cantina. For sure, that's going to be there. And like, so what else do you want to do? That'll be there. There's going to be a trench run simulator. That'll be there for sure. You'll be able to do the trench run in some way, shape, or form. That'll be a ride. There'll be what else do you want to do? Lightsabers. There'll be something with lightsabers. There'll be some way for you to manipulate lasers or light. That'll be an attraction there. And
like walking into the Yoda tree in Empire.
Yeah, there you go. All the stuff that you want to do, all the stuff that like you wished you could do as a kid, they'll do that stuff. Because the list is the same for everyone, right? So there's like 30 things on that list that they're just going to bang out in the form of rides and simulators and restaurants and bars.
Yeah. I think just for starters, I would just be slack-jawed just to come face-to-face with a full-size, legit Falcon. I think that would...
Yeah.
If that was the only thing I saw that day, I think I'd be happy enough.
That would be cool,
Well,
but I would be blown away by a full-size AT-AT. That would blow me away.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Because that would be kind of unexpected, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Especially to get into it and stuff. Like that's the coolest part about this thing.
Well,
if we do ever plan to go, our parents always make the point of mentioning that, on their honeymoon they went to Disney World and the park was just being built. There was there was so much expansion yet to be had from what it is today, and even then, like the prices, we paid this little, and they didn't even see the park. They were there for, I think, 3 or 4 days. And they did not see the whole park back in, well, they've been married for over 42 or 43 years now. So when we plan to go,
it's a mammoth place.
This park itself just looks like a mammoth. So we got to experience it. Like if we walk into the Falcon, we got to indulge, we can't just sit there for like 10 minutes and be like, oh, okay, this is really well done. Like, we got to really soak it in, kind of, it looks like it's going to be a massive park.
Well, I think it's sort of the thing where if you're going to stay for 3 or 4 days and say, I'm going to take in everything, well, then, that's one thing. But if you're there on a 1 day or 2 day thing, I think you kind of have to pick and choose and say, I need to do that. I need to do that. I want to have lunch at the cantina. I want to sit in the cockpit of the Falcon, and you do those things, and you enjoy them to your heart's content, and then you have to move on. And there'll probably be some things that you don't get to do, but you'll have to evaluate carefully.
Dude.
But I assume, being the good Canadians that we are, we've all been to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
More than once.
Exactly. So remember, I guess this is going back to the early 90s. They had this terrible simulator where you would wear these, or actually no, you were the shooter.
It was so dumb.
And you were shooting against some kind of virtual goalie. It was so badly done.
It was so badly timed.
Actually, no, you were the goaltender. Yeah, you were the goaltender, and they were shooting these virtual pucks at you.
No, the reason you
and
can't
you would
remember,
try to make the save.
reason you can't remember is because you could be either role. So you probably did both.
I probably did both, but I would want to do some kind of simulator like that with lightsabers. That'd have to be a part of it for me, where I get to feel like I guess we're almost there now with VR headsets, but I'd like to see them do something in that vein and add like a tactile, physical feel to it.
Yeah,
to make it actually feel legit.
Yeah, I would say, would be the coolest thing. Us three as a squadron of X-Wings, or just choose your own ship, rebellion ship, resistance ship, and just have at it in a battle and just be able to communicate with each other, you know?
Yeah, I mean, all those things are going to be there. One thing I don't know is when they plan on opening this beast of a park. It's probably going to take years to build, but it's going to be such an attraction. It'll be like our version of Jeddah. Jeddah for nerds, actual Earthbound nerds.
We'll get the boys from Talk Star Wars to make the hop over the pond when that thing's finally finished. That'll be their
seriously
excuse.
that could be a big project. Like, this is a bucket list thing for me. Like, honestly, like I saw the vastness of this park. I've heard about it. I've been looking in on it, but I never thought it would be this grand, you know?
Corey, this is why I love you so much. This park doesn't exist yet. All you've seen is a shot of dirt, and you must go there before you die. I love it.
For sure. Did you see the size of it, man? Just, again, to have lunch in the cantina, to be able to, I don't know. We don't even know what it's going to be, but there's definitely going to be some well thought out rides and experiences.
There will be. You're not wrong. They do everything super thoroughly, so it's going to be. I'm sure they're going to get it right. They tend to get this stuff right. So, excluding Euro Disney and all their failures, John Carter. I agree with you. I think that this is going to be a really cool place. And
14 acres is a lot of place to fill. So there's going to be tons of experiences.
Yeah, lots going on.
Lots going on. And again, it would be a bucket list thing, maybe like a rallying point for the Commonwealth. Let's all meet in Florida or California.
That'd be cool.
Whenever this opens, this has got to be, I don't know, like a 2020 thing. I would imagine.
Ample time to plan.
Also, ample time to die. Let's get on with this thing, you know.
Seriously. All
right. Well, Corey, let's touch on your favorite part of any week is your Star Wars Twitter poll.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite part. But this week, kind of just put it out there. # Star Wars, excluding Boba Fett. Who's your favorite bounty hunter from the galaxy far, far away? Comment for other, Forlom, IG88, Zuckus, anything. So, again, it was kind of a layup. I won't be surprised, Kyle, if you, again, kind of, last week we pretty much agreed that, you know, we predicted the results. So your 4 choices were Bosk, Aura Singh, Cad Bane, or Dengar. And the results came in at, 11% for Aura Singh, 15% for Dengar, 29% for the Transdoshian Bosk, and 45% for Cad Bane, which is a bit surprising, but I kind of had a feeling he'd run away with this thing just because he's awesome and so cool.
Who gave you the option for Cad Bane?
Wow, that was...
This guy gave you Cad Bane.
Cad Bane for sure was already on the list.
No, he wasn't. I said you got to put Cad Bane in there. Don't make me dig up the message.
Dig it up.
Oh, this might take a while.
Just to be fair, though, on Sith Disturbers,
no, you know what it was?
0 for 1, Kyle.
Yeah, and I'm going to call you out
What's
0
that,
for 2
Jay?
right now because you know who you told me to put on this list? It wasn't Cad Bane because Cad Bane was I knew Cad Bane was on this list as soon as I excluded Boba Fett because that was my presumption that he'd win. So yes, I'm calling you out. And you told me to put Aura Singh, who came in last. I guarantee you 100%.
Well, it's still a good option to have her in there.
Yeah.
It's not like she hit 0.
No, for sure, but there were a lot of comments on this one, like Embo, Django. There was a lot of cool comments. I was super happy about that. Again, we hit a resounding 199 votes. 199.
Oh, geez, you must have been brokenhearted.
When I looked at it, I wasn't, it took wings the first day, so I was happy. Anything over 100, I'm happy. We get some solid math to work with. So 199 is still solid.
That's a good number. 199 is good. 200 would have been great. I should have voted this week.
Oh, you.
Blame James.
Yeah.
No, but it was a good pull, and yeah, Cad Bane was an easy call. I mean, the guy is ripped straight out of Western films. I think he's actually pulled right out of a specific Western movie. Oh man, it's
His voice though.
Angel Eyes.
His voice as well is just so good, and he's just so on point.
I'm sorry. I'm still trying to think of the movie that Cad Bane. He's basically a replica of a villain out of a Clint Eastwood movie, I think.
Oh, well.
And the villain's name was Angel Eyes, but I can't remember what movie he's from.
Did I already tell you?
But yeah,
Did I already tell you guys that Clint Eastwood anagrams to Old West Action? That's the best anagram I know of. Yeah, Clint Eastwood, Old West Action. Same letters.
That's destiny.
Man, that's crazy. Is that his real name?
Probably not. So I wonder.
Is Clint Eastwood an anagram guy?
I'd love to know. He's pretty smart.
Yeah.
He is pretty smart, I guess. He's pretty cranky, though, it seems.
Yeah, and he's old now. You're allowed to get cranky when you're old. That's why I can't wait to be old.
You're just expected to be old all the time, right?
Cranky all the time,
or cranky all the time.
Yell at everybody, and he's old. Don't mind Grandpa. And nobody cares about what you say. You get to say all crazy doo. Oh, darn it! I'll timestamp that.
It's true though. I get that impression a lot. Trust me, especially when I'm at Walmart or in parking lots.
What about old people, or is that like a people of Walmart thing?
No, it can be people of Walmart, especially depending where you shop geographically. But no, just parking lots. Like old people, it's like oh my god, I'd honk my horn twice today.
So cranky.
Not even cranky. It's like, are you even watching what you're doing? Like, oh my god, like
Corey,
seriously.
Are you crankier than old people?
No, I'm a pretty happy guy. But like some things
are the old people.
Some things are incredible. It's like honestly, like I don't know they're old people till the last minute. You know, it's like, oh my god, the transaction's happening. I have to honk my horn. Okay, now it makes sense. I see. Okay, have a good day.
All right. Well, I think that poll was pretty predictable. I mean, I would have gotten Cad Bane at 1 and Bosk at 2, but I think 3 and 4 were a toss up. So, do you have your poll lined up for this week, Corey?
No, I know he doesn't have it ready just yet.
Nothing yet, eh?
No, and I know he had to step away from the mic for a few minutes.
Oh, you better put your thinking cap on there, buddy.
Yeah, he stepped away. He sent me a message.
All right. So let's move right along here with the Sith Disturbers number 2. Did you guys read my latest blog? I finally was able to get another one up.
Sorry, boss. I didn't read this week's blog, so I will read it, though.
Why do I bother?
I was busy carving pumpkins for Corey's Super Star Wars Great Pumpkin Extravaganza Contest. #Universe Tumbling Saber.
Yeah, hashtag.
Corey, did you at least read it?
I did read it, Kyle, and it was very...
Are you sure?
He's lying.
I read it twice, man. Actually, maybe even
now I know
times.
He's lying.
No, I read it when it came out, and then I read it before the show, and then I read it again.
All right. Well, thank you. That's great news. I got 2 clicks. That makes perfect sense.
No, it's
so anyway,
a good question. It's really short and sweet blog. Sometimes you should kind of present it like that, Kyle. You know, like it's really short and sweet, so it takes literally a minute or 2 to read. It's not like sink your teeth in kind of, you know, you're going to be out there forever. Like it's literally a quick thought, and it was well thought out.
To be fair, I liked it on Facebook without reading it.
So that was you. All right. Well, I put the same question to the Talk Star Wars guys, and I don't know how the question came to my head. I don't know where the inspiration came from, but I sent the question to Mark, and I said I'm going to blog about this, and I'm gonna wait, and well, actually, I'm gonna put my answer up before I hear yours. So I don't want to be tampered with, and I don't want my opinion to tamper yours. So we're in that gray zone right now where my opinion's up there, and theirs is recorded, but it's not out. So basically, my question was, are we going to hear the name Obi-Wan Kenobi mentioned in Rogue One? And it might seem inconsequential at first, but I'm thinking that, this movie's going to sort of end on a bittersweet note where, yes, the rebels get the plans, but, the downside is most, if not all of the Rogue One team are going to get stomped, incinerated, skewered, who knows, but things don't look good. At least that's the prevailing thought. But what if, similar to The Force Awakens, where we lose Han Solo, everybody's kind of bummed. So similar, and then you meet Luke, and everybody's kind of happy again. Here's a long-held hero finally making his big appearance. Same thing here, where not to the same degree, but you're kind of bummed out. All the good guys are dead, even though they were successful. But then here's like that, A New Hope, quote unquote, which I know is Luke, but you could make it a double entendre if you wanted to, and say, if Bail Organa mentions the name of Obi-Wan Kenobi, like nobody knows about Obi-Wan except for Yoda and Bail Organa. Nobody else knows that he's alive. So what if now at this point Bail Organa decides, we need him. It's desperate measures now. We gotta call in a ringer, and so that he name drops Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because if you go back to A New Hope, when Obi-Wan plays that holographic message of Leia, her message is, General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire. I regret that I am unable to present my father's request to you in person, but my ship has fallen under attack, and I'm afraid my mission to bring you to Alderaan has failed. So there's more to it, but that's the important part of the quote. She was asked to present her father's request in person, and she was given a mission to bring Obi-Wan to Alderaan. Now, if these two movies butt up right against each other, I would have to imagine we're going to see this conversation between Bail Organa and Leia, or we'll at least see him send that message to Leia. You have to go get Obi-Wan, get these plans to Obi-Wan, or get him on Tatooine. Bring him to us. We need him. So what do you guys think? Is this going to happen? Corey, what do you think?
Right off the bat, Kyle, you mentioning it now, just the way hearing you as the author speaking about it, just gave me this whole crazy other idea. If he does tell Leia that, he's telling her in the sense that he knows that that's her brother. You know what I mean? Like, he knows the whole backstory. So, like, he's basically saying, go get Luke, too. Because we know that Obi-Wan, we've had this discussion many times, that he's not leaving Luke anywhere. But it's a really well thought out. Like, I would hope, we know we're going to see Jimmy Smits in this movie as Bail Organa. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to hear that name drop, especially, I had mentioned earlier, I would love this movie to be a handoff to A New Hope, in the sense that, we know whatever happens to the crew, good or bad, of Rogue One, we know they get the plans, and it's the handoff now between, that Corellian ship and Leia, and that could play right directly into A New Hope, because they're in dire straits there too, right? Like, they're under attack right off the bat in A New Hope.
Yep.
Oh man, dude, that could solve the debate they've been having at Talk Star Wars. Maybe the movie could end with a closing crawl. I'm mostly kidding.
No, it kind of makes sense. Like, I want to see that. I want to see that handoff to how it gets into Leia's hands, and like Bail basically telling his daughter probably the last time he's ever going to see her. It's important that this information be relayed, and Obi-Wan's important. blah blah blah.
I think it's I think
Yep.
it makes a lot of sense, and it just shows that you spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff, Kyle. Because it seems obvious in retrospect. Like now looking back, why didn't I think of this? We know the time frame of this movie, but it just never dawned on me that we're probably going to hear someone say at the end of this movie, or not someone. We know who's going to say it. We basically can imagine how the scene will go down.
Yeah, the question should be more asked as will Bail Organa ask, or will Bail Organa directly ask for Obi-Wan?
I think it's very likely. I'm going to go with very likely as my
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, you swayed me, Kyle. I'm definitely more on the negative. It's like a 70-30, 80-20 kind of thing.
That we will hear Obi-Wan's name.
Yeah.
And it would be at the very end of the movie, I think. I think that's that's the hook of it, is you're kind of feeling bummed out, but we need Obi-Wan, and you're like, oh, there's that. I know that name. We know Obi-Wan. He's one of the greatest heroes.
It gives you a new hope when you hear it.
Oh,
yeah, which is what I wrote in the blog. Corey, you didn't read it. You didn't read it.
You gotta. Are you telling me that I didn't read it? Of course I read it. I read it like 3 times. James just called you out. What do you want me to say? Great minds think alike.
I think yeah, okay.
I'm reading it right now. And you're right, it only took me like a minute. I was able to read it and mostly listen to you guys while you were talking just now.
That's the best part about this one, honestly. Like, anyone out there listening, like, read this one, click on it, because it's not clickbait, and it's going to take a minute of your day, and then it's probably going to take hours of speculation on your part.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all in Leia's quote, all in that holographic message. Like I don't think anybody's really ever thought about it that deeply, that Bail Organa gave her a mission to get Obi-Wan. And there's a whole subset of questions you can ask. Like, what good is Obi-Wan really?
It's funny too, man. Like, can you imagine Vader, like, above, like, what planet are we above now coming out of hyperspace? Tatooine, sir. He's probably like, ugh, I hate sand. It's gonna get in my circuits. Like, okay, I'm staying up here, like, just dispatch some droids or some troopers, whatever.
Yeah, you'd think Anakin Vader would say, like, you know what, I'm gonna have to take care of this myself. This is just too weird.
No, like, to him, I'm sure when he knows that he's on top of Tatooine, I'm sure for him it's like, okay, things are coming.
Get me out of here.
No, things are coming full circle. I've seen visions of this. Like, oh no, it's the beginning of the end.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, for sure, he's having weird feelings about being above Tatooine, and I'm sure I'm pretty sure he would want to I want to get out of here. I don't want to be anywhere near this place. It reminds me of who I used to be. It reminds me of my mom. She's buried down there. Of course, he doesn't know about his son walking around down there next to his buried mom. Which reminds me, why don't we see the headstone of Shmi Skywalker at the Owen and Beru Lars homestead?
Maybe Obi-Wan told him.
Did it, like, get rid of that? You don't want Luke asking questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, like, the sand drifts and, like, it's buried under 6 feet of sand now.
Yeah, that's true. Those places have sandstorms all the time that shift the dunes and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, well, thank you, everybody who took, I don't know, how long did that take? About 90 seconds to read?
It was a good read. If I wasn't doing so many pumpkins, I would have read that 3 times like Corey.
Well, again, I'm pretty convinced that we're going to hear Obi-Wan's name, and I think it's going to be one of the secret reveals of Rogue One. I don't know what else that movie's going to have in store for us, but I'm pretty sure I've struck gold on that one.
Ooh, pretty sure. Are you?
Pretty sure. I'm reasonably sure, and I would, if there were Vegas odds with that very same question, I would take the bet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just think it's
It's a good tie-in. It's a perfect tie-in.
Exactly. It's a perfect tie-in. It would be appropriate, I think, given the tone of the movie that we think we're going to be at that point. And I think you almost have to, given what Leia says in that message.
You do have to, basically. But the only thing that's missing is motivation. Like you said it earlier. What is one old Jedi who's been in hiding going to do?
Bail knows he has Luke.
Like,
yeah, he knows.
Luke knows nothing.
Luke's the new hope. Like, it's what they're banking on all this time is that Luke's going to come awaken himself almost, like things are going to play out, and they played, that's their ace in the hole.
Wow. So I guess here's a question with much further odds, but with the payout would be much bigger. Will Bail Organa mention Luke? That's got to be a big fat no.
No,
of course not. Then the kiss would never have happened.
I would think more,
I hope.
Kind of like, Bail, like, again, it's, if anything, it's going to be the last conversation he has with his daughter. So, he's going to give her what he needs to say to her. And, from here on out, you're kind of on your own. Obi-Wan, you'll piece it together eventually. You're a woman now, kind of.
You're a woman now?
I don't know. How would you feel if you know in your heart of hearts that you're gonna die?
Is this like this is like a Chris Isaac song now?
I thought it was an ad for tampons.
No, seriously though, if
you're a woman now,
if you know for pretty much that like you're in dire straits and it's the last time you're gonna see your daughter, and you're letting her go.
I love the dire straits.
Like, seriously, picture that, man. You guys both have daughters. I don't, and like it's gut wrenching.
Yeah, no, it is. For sure. Especially if she's a woman now.
He's letting her out there, man. But
I think Leia was out there way before that.
Even in Rebels you see it, like she's like conducting missions on her own. She's quite independent.
Yeah, I think Leia was out and about having a productive life by the time she was 10. All right, boys. Well, that about sums it up. I'm tapped out on Star Wars for today.
It was good, though. It was good. I laughed pretty hard in that one.
Yeah.
Could be an episode title. Oh, boy. All right. Well, guys, thank you again for listening. Hope you enjoyed this second edition of Sith Disturbers. Get in touch with the show. You can find us all on Twitter. You all know how to do that by now. Or send an email to kyle@tumblingsaber.com with any thoughts, questions, suggestions, and or even your grocery list. I'd like to see what you're eating. And that'll do for this week, guys. We'll catch you guys again in episode 49. We are just a couple weeks off the magic 5-0. So until then, guys, have yourselves a good weekend, and we will talk to you again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Sith Disturbers podcast, brought to you by the warped minds at the Tumbling Saber, proud member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Network. Visit StarWarsCommonwealth.com and take your first step into a larger world.